Percentages converting from fractions and decimals using number chips. This is the Easter version. It starts out explaining what a percentage is. It's a comparison out of 100, and then it gives some common com- uh, conversions. Students are going to start on slide 3. They're going to be moving these number chips. So they just click and hold, and then they can move it into the correct circle. This slide is pretty easy. It just gives them a little bit of practice. So 1200s would be 12%. 5900s would be 59%. And then one whole would be 100%. So the students are going to use every single number chip. Then it explains another way to convert from a decimal to a percentage is moving the decimal point 2 places to the right. So in this case, 1 and 74 hundredths, if they move the decimal point 2 places to the right, they get 174%. Here, 3/10, if they move the decimal point 2 places to the right, they've got a blank space. They have to add a 0, which makes it 30%. And then they get a few slides where they're going to practice that. So they have to be really careful because this one would be 70%. They have to add a 0, and this one 7%. So they have to count correctly. And then changing a fraction to a percentage. One method is to change your denominator to 100. So if they multiply numerator and denominator by 5 here, they get 45 hundredths, an equivalent fraction, which is as a decimal 0.45, and as a percentage, 45%. So the first method is changing their denominator to 100. So they get a couple slides where they're going to practice. So here, if they multiply 20 times 5, they get 100, which means they also have to multiply 6 times 5 to get 30. And then 30 hundredths as a decimal, which is 30%. Okay, so again, they're going to use every single number chip. Okay, then they get a little bit of practice doing that. Sometimes they can't directly multiply and get 100 in the denominator, so they may have to simplify first. So here they simplified 18/40ths by dividing numerator and denominator by 2. That gives them 9/20ths. Now they can convert it to an equivalent fraction with 100 in the denominator. So they're going to get a couple slides to practice that, and again, they're going to use every single number chip. Now, if it's not possible to change your denominator to 100, for example, if you have 8 in the denominator, then you have to use long division. Now, they could use a calculator, but using long division, this was how it would work. They would get a solution of 625 thousandths, move their decimal point 2 places to the right, and get 62.5%. The next slide, most of the division is done for them. They just have to find these 3 numbers, and they would move their decimal point 2 places to the right. So here they have to actually move the decimal point into the correct place, as well as add all of the numbers. And then the very last slide, they have to do all of the division themselves. So every single one of these number chips will be used, and they have to move the decimal point into the correct place. All the completed slides are on here for the teacher. So if you want to assign this to the students, just come up to File, make a copy of the entire presentation, and for the student copy, just delete the completed slides.